What is the best AI writing tool on the market today? I'm going to share with you my experiences with the one that I use the most, and I'm going to give you some insights into why I think it's probably the best, and probably the smartest priced as well, and super affordable. Let's get into today's video. It's going to be a super interesting one. Okay, so you've joined me inside Koala AI. As you've guessed, it's going to be for me the top pick of what I think is the best AI writing tool currently on the market. There are a ton of AI writing tools, and while I wouldn't go into every single one, I'll highlight a few of the top three within the description and the link below. But I really want to just focus on one today, because if you are new to writing content with AI, then it would make sense for you just to kind of stick to one or two, potentially three, not get kind of dug into the 10, 15 and 20 or so AI writing tools, because you're just going to be here kicking your balls forever. But definitely test out a few. For me, Koala AI seems to tick all the boxes for what I want my AI writing tool to do, and it's super affordable too, which is very interesting. So if you're new to Koala, the AI tool, this is what it looks like in terms of the home screen. It's very intuitive, very simple. I feel like someone that is actually writing content themselves and use AI quite frequently has designed it, because it's, again, very intuitive to use. On the left hand side is your kind of links and tabs. I honestly don't really use the Koala chat that often. I just generally use ChatGPT, but it's a feature that's there for you to use. My kind of main tool that I use is the writing tool here, which I'm going to go through in detail. There is a pricing on the left hand side here, as you can see, and it starts at $9 a month, which is super affordable. I mean, pretty much anyone can afford that. So feel free to, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. In fact, use it please, because it'll be a referral link. That'll be fantastic, because I spend a ton of time doing these videos. So if you can sign up using my link, that'll be fantastic. But yeah, so you have choices of plans to choose from. Definitely start from like the lowest one if you're new, because you can just test it out and it doesn't really cost you anything. And then it kind of goes up to like a $2,000 for in and around 10 million words of content. And if you're looking to purchase that much, then you probably should have a really smart content plan. So it has people from the beginning all the way up to those that are kind of advanced and experts in writing content. And one caveat that I should say from the outset is, even though these AI tools are intuitive and they're quite smart in terms of the way that they write the content, the layouts and the templates, I definitely wouldn't recommend that you just press publish on an AI tool now, and even in the future. If I'm being honest, I think a human editing, human reading, going through it and actually making sure that it makes sense and is correct for your audience is probably the best way for anyone to interact with anything AI based. So kind of bear that in mind. Let's go into a action example of how to use the writing tool. And I'm going to give you some kind of inputs into how I would recommend. So first of all, you can add a project in here. Definitely recommend that if you have more than one website, because it makes things a lot easier, especially when you go and actually publish 10, 20, 100 plus articles. If they don't have a project, then you're going to find it difficult to find those articles when you're looking into the library on the left hand side here. Okay, next, it has a GPT version. As you can see here, it's super self-explanatory. GPT 3.5 is going to be more the basic kind of content, similar to what you'll get on ChatGPT in terms of the basic version of that. And then GPT 4, which is the slightly advanced one, is going to be a bit more intuitive. It's going to understand the nuances of your keyword and your article in general, and the structure is going to be a lot more sensible as well. One caveat to that is, of course, if you're going to use the GPT 4, it's gonna increase your credit usage by 5x, so bear that in mind. And there's some examples here. So a 1,500 word article would go up to 7,500. Super simple. Now this is a really interesting part. Usually, if you are looking to create different articles, then you have the choice to select what you want Koala to structure in terms of your output. So if you're just having a simple blog post and it's informational based, then there's nothing to really worry about. You stick a keyword in here, and then you go ahead and continue the rest of the filters at the bottom here. If you're looking to do an Amazon product roundup, then you give the target keyword. You're going to give, of course, the domain, which is usually going to be Amazon, and then the number of products that you're going to want that you're actually going to want Koala to review. Now, of course, you can add your Amazon tracking ID, which they make it super simple for you to use. And you can also add a Amazon search URL, so you can specifically tell them, instead of them, the AI tool choosing the 5 or so competitions that you're looking to compare against, you can give them the 5 URLs, and that will work in the same way. Now next, very similar to the product review, you have the single review. Of course, now you're going to definitely want to put the URL in here, and then you're going to have the target keyword too. And then you're going to go through the kind of filters and make sure that you add your tracking ID to make it track your conversions. And also you have an enable first-hand experience mode. And as a reader, if enabled, the article will be written from a perspective that sometimes can make it sound like the writer has more first-hand experience. So it's going to come from, I guess, you writing it. It's going to feel more impressionable and hopefully get people to click over to your affiliate link, right? Now, usually, I usually only use the blog post thus far. I've used the product roundup and the single product review once or twice. But if I'm being honest, I do prefer my product reviews to be very much more synergized with an actual person with real hand experience, with real images. And so far, I don't feel like AI has the capabilities to write the kind of first-hand experience in the way that I would like on my particular blogs. Does that mean that you shouldn't? By no means. Feel free to test. You have the AI tool, go ahead and test. And you can heavily have someone go and edit it and make it sound more sensible. And at the very least, you can have really smart templates and headlines that the AI tools like this, for example, Koala, can help you generate. And then you can go out and have a human person flesh it out, or vice versa, right? Play with it, see what happens, see what works for you. Thus far, in today's current environment, I'm not comfortable just having an Amazon product review written by AI. But maybe in the future, that's something that I'm going to be investigating. Right now, I usually use it for blog posts. Before I go into that, they do have a YouTube to video blog post tool, and they also have a rewrite blog post tool, which is similar to the blog post article type as well. So let's take an example of a blog post from one of my blogs now. Let me pop over there now so you can take a look. This is a DIY website that I have been using in the past that I don't really blog on anymore. DIY and tool niche is amazing, a little bit competitive. But at the moment, this particular site is just kind of sitting there. Maybe I'll do something in the future, I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and take out some of these keywords. I wanted to show you. So this is the keyword I wanted to show you. Can you plug a generator in an extension cord? This is the article that I currently have. It looks pretty dim, to be honest. There's not much going on. Without those ads, it will be super, super short. So my thinking is that we can get AI to definitely produce a better quality article and have better structures. Potentially even have it produce all of it, and then we can go in and do some heavy content editing with a human and make it a lot more kind of adjusted to our purposes. So let's use this particular article as a comparison guide. Take away that. So you can read this yourself as well, but usually I use AI powered, and it will allow us to analyze top ranking pages and extract up to 100 topically relevant keywords and entities to use in the article. Okay, super, super, super cool. I think they added that more recently over the last few months. You can play with the options, but usually I use AI powered. Next is tone of voice. You can feel free to change the tone of voice. Again, depends on what you're trying to achieve. I usually leave it as SEO optimized because it works for my purposes. And then language, of course, change your language. Country, you can do that as you see fit. This is the super important part. So point of view, you can change this to how you want the structure to be. I usually leave it as third person, and then these small these small options, they change the structure the way that you want the article to be. So number one is, first of all, you can use real-time search results, and if enabled, it will fetch search results from each section and use that data to help generate the article, which is pretty smart. Now, when I use this, sometimes they tend to pick out competitor URLs and plug them into the site, to the article, which sometimes is a bit counterintuitive because I don't really want to link out to my competition. So bear that in mind if you want to hit that. But generally, the real-time search results do help, and you can always just filter them. I usually always use the outline editor, and if enabled, this is just going to give you an outline of the article, pretty self-explanatory. The only time I wouldn't do that is if I'm using the bulk version, which I'm going to show you in a second, because I don't think you can. But always check out the outline first, and I'll give you an example of why that is important in shortly. You can include an FAQ section. 100% recommend that you always include an FAQ section in every single article, and whatever it is, because again, when someone's going through, they always have questions. So you want to add that into the bottom. And then key takeaways. These are small bullet points. If enabled, it gives you an introduction of small bullet points, and it just gives you key takeaways of what the article is going to be about. Again, it's up to you. I generally find that if you're going through an article and you see bullet points as a reader, it just helps your eye, and it gives you some summary points that can make it easier for you to break down the text. So generally we're ready to go. You can press the advanced options here, and there are other custom things that you can do to really synergize your article and make it specific to your needs. I won't read through these now because you can read through it in your own time. Generally, if you add those in, your article is going to be maybe a bit more suitable for your audience, but you don't have to. So we're going to hit create outline and see what happens. Okay, so it's generated the outline. It takes maybe 10-15 seconds or whatever it's going to be. And then you can just go through and check to see that the outline is structurally what you're looking for in terms of does it actually answer the keyword that you've put it in. Most of the time it will, but sometimes you'll be surprised it doesn't. So you definitely have a headline structure or generator be built. Here's something really cool. You can go into each headline and you can kind of change them and change the prompts, potentially change some of the keyword entities. So when the AI tool is writing, it's a bit more synergized with what you're trying to achieve. Again, depends on what you're trying to portray on your article. You can highlight and edit and modify those. We'll close that. So generally, as I can see, based on the article that we first saw, like it was really thin in content, didn't really have many H2s. This one's talking about loads of different things in terms of the extension cords and all the electrical needs. And generally, it looks like it's going to be a lot more explanatory and give our reader loads more in terms of whether they can actually plug in a generator using a extension lead or not, which is super smart because obviously it's an electrical fault if they don't. So we're going to hit create article on this. Of course, it's got the FAQs as well, so you can add that in there. And we're going to see what happens. Now, one thing I didn't mention is I use ChatGPT 3.5 for this. Now, 4 is going to be obviously a lot more in terms of credits, but also it's going to write better as well. So we'll do it with 3.5 and just get a feel of it, and we'll see where it goes from there. Also, one thing I should mention is, as you can see, the word count is just piping away at the top here. With GPT-4, the word count, it kind of goes a lot slower. So I feel like maybe the system or the software is kind of reading and going through things in a lot more systematic way, because it's definitely not this fast. It will be like a word count 100 or 200 by now. So definitely test both. For this example, I'll just use ChatGPT 3.5. But yeah, test both because you'll find 4 will be better. So we'll start to scroll through this. As you can see, it's got the introduction here. These are the key takeaways, that little add-on that we added. And then these are the H2s that we saw from the outline generator. As you can see, the structure is pretty good in terms of the way it's structured. It's got H2s and these are obviously H3s going down. Information on choosing the right extension lead. I think, how many words is that now? It's like 3,000 plus words, so more than enough words. We'll let it just write, do its thing. As you can see, it's finished. It finished at around 3,700 words. We'll scroll through the bottom so I can show you the FAQs as well. But this looks way better than the article that I had presently on the example site. These are the FAQs, super simple. I think the FAQs are probably like one of the most intuitive parts because the FAQs are based on the actual keyword itself. So that's the article finished, fantastic. Again, I wouldn't just add it into WordPress just yet. Give it a read, give it a check, probably have a human come and edit it. You're going to have images and obviously internal link it and do that on-page SEO, important things anyhow. One thing I was going to mention is you can hit download to download it. It's going to download it in like a HTML type format, so bear that in mind. You can copy it and paste it as normal. This is pretty cool. You can create a draft directly in WordPress, okay? Now, you have to link your account up first, but once it's done, usually when you actually create an article and add it to the correct project, it's going to create automatically a draft in WordPress, which makes things tons easier because then you can just say to your team, check out the drafts in my WordPress, please get those formatted and published correctly, add in images, do internal linking, etc, etc. So super intuitive. As you can see, I don't know how long the video is, maybe like 5, 6, 7 minutes, but it took about 2 minutes to actually generate. And that brings me like really nicely on to the next point, the bulk mode, which is very much similar to the normal mode. The only difference is you would just create the articles in bulk. So all of the information is the same. You can add the projects, you've got all the target keywords, all of the integrated points of filters, you can add those in. The only difference is when you're actually adding in the keyword itself here, you would add in multiple ones. So it will be like whatever this is, it'll be that times 2 and etc, etc. Whatever the keyword's going to be, you would add those in. I think you can add, I feel like thousands. I think, yeah, there's no limit to how many keywords you can add in, but of course bear in mind the more keywords you add in, the longer it's going to take. And when it's going through bulk mode, you will have a screen. It will show you all the articles and then how fast each article is being written. Sometimes you can cancel those as well, just in case they're taking too long or if you've made a mistake, so bear that in mind too. Lastly, once you've written everything, you can hit library on the left hand side here. You may not be able to see that right now because maybe the screen's a little bit cut, but there's a library option on the left hand side here, and you can go through all of your articles, all of your projects. I'm not going to hit it now because you'll see all of my juicy keywords, and that kind of gives you a feel of where all your articles are. Now honestly, that Koala Writer is super intuitive, like I mentioned. It gives you exactly what you need as an AI writing tool, and it gives you it's a really affordable price. So again, feel free to check it all out. They're very, very simple to use. Kind of read through the articles, see what you like, see what you don't like, outsource parts that you don't like as well, do the parts that you do like, etc. But very, very interesting, and I think everyone that is writing blogs should at the very least be open to AI writing tools. I hope today's been a good tutorial. Please use the link that I've mentioned in the description below. These videos do take some time to actually shoot, and I would love for you to support me and my channel. Awesome, take care, I'll see you in the next one, bye bye.